going to put a light on that because our theme and Toastmaster of the day is going to take you through that. So let's begin our wonderful sessions. We do have a speech marathon today with lots of exciting speeches that going to keep you gripping on your seat. Well, BKC Fireflies is a small wonder club, as we always say, where we have so many opportunities to do all the role plays and deliver speeches. You always find some or the other slots. You have slots to be one of the role players like evaluators. So do make most of it. Do grab them and just get in on the meeting. Before we start the meeting, certain house rules. Oh, before that, let me just tell you about the mission of the club. So the mission of the club is to provide a supportive and a positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. With that, let's begin. And before that, let me just list down the house rules. Request all the people to mute yourself if you're not speaking, so that would not disturb the speaker. Try to have the video on so we can feel, or even the speakers can feel the energy and you can get the vibe of the meeting. The meeting will be recorded. In case you have any reservations, do let us know. That's it. Now I do hand over the meeting to our presiding officer, Sandhya.
Thank you very much, Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Saurabh. A very good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests that we have from a number of clubs today joining us here, both as spectators of the meeting as well as role players. But before I get to speaking to those guests, let me do a couple of quick announcements. It is the contest season of District 98 of Toastmasters International, and BKC Fireflies is also having its contest coming up soon. We shall be having the evaluation speech contest that is being conducted on the 19th of November, Sunday, 19th of November at 10:30 a.m. And this is specifically for all the BKC Fireflies members. If you are interested in participating in the contest, please do give your names to Toastmaster Sai, who is the contest chair for the contest. The contest, again, I repeat, is going to be held on the 19th of November on Sunday, which is also the day of the World Cup finals. But we are having it in the morning. I guess the finals will start only in the afternoon, so you can be done with the contest and then be glued to your television screens to watch the finals. And let's hope that the men in blue are going to be part of the finals. Well, as things are showing right now, we all of us are keeping our fingers crossed, and let's hope that we make it to the finals. Well, having said that, I must share something that Rashmi, I can take your question offline, yes, about the eligibility criteria. We can discuss it on the group or in person. Yeah, my last week, I must tell you, was something that was really fascinating and has left me with some very mixed feelings. We as Indians have something that we are very well known for, our hospitality, Atithi Devo Bhava. And I had some guests at home the entire last week. And I was very, very happy to have them home because they are people who are extremely close to my heart. But the reason that I'm having mixed feelings after they have left is because the last week was also extremely, extremely busy. And that's exactly because we Indians practice Atithi Devo Bhava. We are expected to treat our guests like gods. And sometimes, especially in the busy lives that we live in, it becomes a little too hectic, especially when some of those guests expect to be literally be served on a platter. So that makes the host's life extremely, extremely busy. So like I said, even though these people are very close to my heart, after they've left, I've also heaved a sigh of relief. I'm like, okay, so my work is now 50 times below what it was the last week. And thinking of that, I think it's also about the expectations and the culture that we have created about what the guests expect from the host. And in India, I guess the culture is that you're going to be seated on a pedestal if you are a guest at someone's place. But to talk more about this culture and all other types of cultures that we follow, that the world follows, we have our Toastmaster of the day today talking to us about exactly this, about culture. He will, of course, talk a lot more about this. So I will give it to you, to Toastmaster of the day, Sai. I know you are all set to speak, but before that, I want to speak to a few other people, and let me look into the gallery. Yes, we have Al Hassan Mohammed here. Hi, Al Hassan. Can you unmute yourself? And hi, I see that you are on the road.
No, I just parked. Yeah,
Where are
my
you
name is
currently, Al
Al
Hassan?
My name is Al Hassan Mohammed. I am currently in District 94,
Okay.
and I'm the program quality director of the VCU in
Oh,
Abuja, capital of
that's nice.
Nigeria.
That's very nice. So, what
Yeah.
we're very glad to have you here at our meeting. What brings you here today?
I am somebody that I have desire to learn from other people, experience, and I do visit other clubs around the globe
Okay.
to learn. So I'm here to learn. I will sit tight and watch.
Excellent. I hope that you enjoy the meeting, and I will come back to you at the end of the meeting to ask what you thought
Okay?
about this meeting, since you are a global Toastmaster visiting meetings
Yeah,
across the globe. So, welcome
yeah.
to meeting number 124 of BKC Five Flies, and I hope that you will enjoy today's meeting.
Thank you
We
so much.
have Thank you. We have a number of other guests too, but they are also role players. So I will get to them at the end of the meeting. And because Toastmaster Sai is so desperate to talk to us about culture, without further ado, I'm going to hand over the meeting to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Sai. And I'm not going to introduce you because all of you know who he is. He doesn't need any introduction on the BKC Fireflies platform. Over to you, Toastmaster Sai.
I think the reality is there's nothing nice to say about me, and that's why the presiding officer decided that, you know what, let's just get this on the road. Let's get the show started, because the less we talk about him, the better. Anyway, Gina, just so you know, the second F in Fireflies is in uppercase. So please make note of that when you're entering the password. It's the first F and the second F, both are in uppercase for the password. Yes. Okay. Now we have a theme, which is culture, vulture, Pyaar-Vyaar. For our guests from Nigeria, Abuja, Nigeria. Am I getting it right? Give me a thumbs up. Or I'm going to assume that my geography is sort of okay. From our guests from abroad, culture means culture, of course. Culture-Vulture is just an Indian way of saying that. What's a good analogy? But basically, it's just because it rhymes, it's said like that. Culture-Vulture. Pyar is love. Pyar is the Hindi word for love, and Pyaar-Vyaar again, because it sounds like pyar, but it rhymes with pyar. That's why you say it like that. It's an Indian thing. I was not expecting guests from abroad. I'm sorry about that. But yes, that's the theme of the evening. And the importance of culture, what culture means, and what culture can do for us is what we're going to discuss today. Speaking of culture, the culture of BKC Fireflies is that all role players add their role name in front of their actual name. So if you're doing an evaluation, please put evaluation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you're doing a G, please put that so that it's easier for us to locate you in the middle of all the stuff that's happening. All right, let me tell you a little bit about something that happened to someone I know. She is a young woman. She was a young woman. She still is a young woman. She continues to be a young woman. But when this happened, she was a young woman. She had woken up at the crack of dawn. It's 5:36 in the morning. And she decided that that day was a day to go out running. So she went to the closet, took out running clothes, put on her tights, put on a t-shirt, put on, it was winter, so she put on a beanie hat, laced her sneakers, and off she was running. And just suddenly, she noticed out of the corner of her eye that there was these two men driving by on a motorcycle, 6:37 in the morning, winter, dark, and they were looking at her. She didn't give too much mind to it, but she kept running. And on the left, there was a shop, a tea shop, where there were a few men standing around wearing traditional Indian clothes, gossiping, chatting, sipping chai. And they too were staring at her. She started to feel uncomfortable. What was wrong? Was she not dressed properly? Were they not expecting to see people running? Was being physically active such a bad thing? And then she finished her jog, and by that time the sun was up and it was bright and nice outside. There were more people on the road. She felt safe. She came back home a slightly different route, so she wouldn't let the people who were staring at her know what her schedule was, what her route was. And she came back home and she asked me, why was it that all these men were staring at me? And I told my sister, you are now in a small town. Women in tights running alone is a rare sight. The culture here is for women to do things with men, either with men or do it in bright daylight. We have a culture, a patriarchal culture where we're from. And that woman, ladies and gentlemen, is my sister. And this is the culture that we grew up in. She'd forgotten this. She'd been living abroad for many years, where running is one of the most normal things you can do. And she'd forgotten completely about the way we'd grown up. And that is culture. So what is culture? Culture, according to one person, is the way you feel on Sunday night about Monday morning, if you're an employee. Company culture is how you feel on Sunday night about Monday morning. Think about it. Culture is an intangible. There's nothing which you can say and say, this is culture. But it's something we have all felt. It, to me, is the most tangible, most impressive, it creates the biggest impression on us, despite being the most intangible thing on earth. And ladies and gentlemen, today, we're going to talk more about this culture. Let me give you one more example of culture. In my first job, I joined a company called Goldman Sachs. I joined as a program analyst. I loved computer science. I'd been coding for a long time. I joined Goldman Sachs. And it turned out that Goldman Sachs was underpaying for people like me. All of us, regardless of where you're from, it underpays everybody else in the market by 30%. So if you, as a first-year analyst in my position, were earning, say, 100 rupees at your employer, Goldman Sachs was paying me 70 rupees. And you know why they were able to get away with it? Because every smart kid in my class, people with a GPA of 3.7, 3.9, 4, still clamoring to join Goldman Sachs, was because of culture. They were able to sell a culture of excellence. Back when we joined, Goldman was the biggest and the baddest investment bank on Wall Street. And they were able to create and sustain a culture of excellence, of being in the big leagues, in being number one across generations. There's something called league tables in investment banking, where at the end of every year, newspapers and trade publications, they compile a list of all the IPOs and deals that your investment bank has been part of. They've either co-written or they've led those investment opportunities. And invariably, Goldman Sachs used to be number one, despite paying less to all its employees to join. And because they created this culture of excellence, people like me wanted to be part of Goldman Sachs. Of course, the story is that as you go up the ranks in Goldman Sachs, they make up for it. You spend 2 years earning 30% less than everybody else, which let's call it 2 years at 100,000 versus your 70,000, you lost $60,000. But over the next decade or two, you're going to make up more of it because you're part of Goldman Sachs and because of the success that Goldman Sachs breeds. That culture that you had to pay for by taking a pay cut, repays you with all those bonuses and all the perks of being a part of Goldman Sachs. And if it's on your resume, you can always claim a nicer pay packet at the next job. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is culture. The culture of patriarchy, the culture of staring at women because they are doing something that you're not expecting women to do, and the culture of excellence, which helps you attract and retain and nurture and sustain yourself with the best talent that Wall Street can entice and attract. Of course, that culture has now moved to IT, to software, to the companies like Google and Facebook, which have started attracting the best talent. But culture matters, ladies and gentlemen, and that is what we're going to discuss tonight. Speaking of culture, speaking of what we're going to discuss tonight, we have a speech marathon. There are people who are waiting in the wings, desperate to get this ordeal over with. There are a few people who are speaking for the first time at our meetings. The first two speakers for the evening are people who are speaking for the first time, and I'm not going to bore you with an introduction to them, and I'm not going to usurp their story to us. So we'll get our two speakers, our icebreaker speakers, ready and warmed up. Like Cyril said as part of his orientation, if you need to speak and you're up next, go do some jumping jacks, get your blood moving. And while our speakers are doing that, they're getting their jumping jacks in and getting their blood moving, we are going to discuss, we're going to ask our role players, people who are going to assist in the execution of this meeting, to come and tell us a little bit about their roles. And if you have not put your name against your role, I'll have to switch to the agenda to make sure I get the names right. I'm going to start with the grammarian because I think she's chosen an excellent word for us. Gina, are you there? Is your video on? Yes, I see your video on. And let me put you on spotlight. If you could share the word of the day and do those cool things, please help us.
Yeah. So I just thought I would start with a question. How many of y'all thought that English is a difficult language? Nobody? Okay, fine. So I guess I'm the only one here then. But the reason is because I used to struggle with prepositions when I was in school, and that was the one thing that got in the way of me scoring a 10 on 10 in grammar. Anyway, so basically being a grammarian isn't exactly cakewalk, not to me. And I'm going to pay close attention to all the speakers today and make a note of incorrect usages, and hopefully I can suggest some alternates. And also some beautiful uses of the language for me also to take away, because there's learning for all of us in every meeting. And that's the idea I'm approaching this role with. The word of the day, and it's recommended that every speaker try and use it. The word of the day is milieu. That's spelled as M-I-L-I-E-U. Milieu, which means the social environment that we live or work in. And an example of the way you would use the word milieu is Mumbai's work milieu breeds world-class professionalism. So that's the word milieu. And the phrase of the day is smart as a whip, which means impressive intelligence. And an example of using the phrase smart as a whip would be Indian businesswomen, Indian business people. Indian business people are smart as whips. They can sense opportunities in the most trying circumstances. So the word of the day is milieu, M-I-L-I-E-U, meaning the social environment that we live or work in. And the phrase of the day is smart as a whip, meaning extremely, impressively intelligent. So I'll present my report when called upon. Thank you. Over to you, Sai.
Thank you very much, Gina. If I use the word milieu in social settings, then everybody is going to think I'm smart as a whip. But the only reason I'm able to use those words is because you told me what those words mean. Thank you so much. Let's call up Shekhar. Shekhar, let me before I call you up, I'm actually going to take this minute to make sure your name includes your role, which is R counter. Yes, Shekhar, over to you to explain to us what the R counter does.
Yes, thank you very much, Sai. Today, I am for the role of R counter. Way back when I was engaged with my wife, on the first date, I went with her at Hanging Garden. and she exactly was sitting about 1 feet away from me on the bench. And I asked her, "Did you say anything?" So she said, "Huh." And I thought, "I've not heard." She asked me back. And I said, "Hmm." So this and have started many, many years ago. And I was not aware that I'll be caught with the Toastmasters as an R counter for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your R counter, and I'm going to pick up all the crutch words and ers and arms and and but and so and then report it back when called for. Thank you very much. Over to you, Sai.
Yes, I wasn't sure where the story was going, but then the way you tied everything together, Shekhar, that was masterful. You, my friend, are smart as a whip. How's that, Gina? All right, let's get. Presiding officer Sandhya, do we have a timer, or do you want to ask someone to step up and be the timer for us? If not, I can do the timing role.
We don't have a timer yet.
Won't have a timer yet. Okay, who's evaluator number 5?
Sangeeta Shruti.
Sangeeta Shruti, you know you want to do this role. Come on, just be the timer for us.
Okay, done.
You sure about that? I'm just. If you can't do it, then we'll think you're not smart as a whip.
I don't care. But when I'm evaluating, you please do the timer role.
Understood. Agreed. I'll do the timing when Sangeeta Shruti is doing her evaluation. Other than that, our evaluator for the evening is Sangeeta Shruti. I'm going to put timer next.
Timer for the evening is Sangeeta Shruti. You said evaluator.
I'm assuming that you're going to win the evaluation contest. I mean, there are only 5 of you. I'm sure you're going to do well. Gunjan, please, what were you saying? Go ahead.
Thank you. I would just interrupt you that when the speaker for Toastmaster Sangeeta Shruti, I guess it is Toastmaster Nidhi, when she's speaking, then also you could time her so that she gets the time to listen. Thank you.
Fair enough. Good point.
That's so considerate of you, Toastmaster Gunjan.
That's the culture we are creating, people. That's the culture we're creating. Culture of support and mutual help. Thank you so much. Thank you, Gunjan. That's a very good point. I will do the timing for Nidhi as well. She's speaking 5 to 7 minutes. We're all set. Sangeeta Shruti, go ahead and tell us what the timer is supposed to do and how you plan to do it. Do you plan to share a screen, or do you want to use your background? How do you want to do it? Both.
Now I'm going to share my screen. I'll need 10 seconds to put the setup in place. I have most of it here. Now, a timer is your time watchdog. He pounces on every second you take while you're on stage. So all prepared speeches, evaluators, everybody has a time limit. I will not be timing the GE, but the GE will have a slot on the agenda. Now, all icebreaker speeches have a time limit of 4 to 6 minutes. So at the end of 4 minutes, I will be displaying a green screen, 5 minutes yellow screen, 6 minutes red screen. Icebreaker speakers to note again, 4 minutes green screen, 5 minutes yellow screen, 6 minutes red screen. For prepared speakers, the time limit is going to be, I think the G is saying something. Toastmaster Gunjan?
Sangeeta Shruti, finish what you need to say. Then
okay. Okay. The prepared speeches will have a time limit of 5 to 7 minutes. So it's going to be a green screen at 5, yellow at 6, and red at 7 minutes. All evaluators have a time limit of 2 to 3 minutes. So it's going to be green screen at 2, yellow at 2.5, red at 3. Once I flash the red screen, you have 30 seconds to wind up whatever you're saying, no matter it is icebreaker, speech, or evaluator. Anybody who crosses the 30-second limit will not be qualified for voting. Request everybody to be mindful of time, and back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Gunjan, now is your time to tell us what you had raised your hand for. Or is that
actually we use in our club a website for timing, so that is what I sent. She can use that.
Yeah, we've tried it. It's just the speaker becomes like this little stamp on the corner of the screen, and we don't like that actually. The recordings also, it looks pretty. I mean, I prefer the background strategy. And I think Sangeeta Shruti is, if she's comfortable with that, we'll just go with that. So speakers, Ruchir, I'm going to ask you to come on screen and tell me what you see when Sangeeta Shruti is ready. Her screen will change. I don't know how if you know how to monitor for her screen changes. I'm going to put you on spotlight with me.
Okay.
All right. So when Sangeeta Shruti screen changes, right now it's some window thing.
Yeah, I can see it.
You can see the changes, right? So this is what's it's gonna look like when you're delivering your speech. There'll be a strip on top with her screen changing from white to green to yellow and all those things. So please be red is when you start your speech needs to start ending. 6:30 is when you need to end. All right. So let me drop you from our spotlight, and our first speaker is delivering an icebreaker speech. We saw him for a brief moment when he was testing the timing signals. That is Ruchir Prasoon. His evaluator is our presiding officer for the evening, Sandhya. And I'm going to ask Sandhya to step up and tell us how she plans to evaluate our first speaker.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Our first speaker for the day, Toastmaster Ruchir, is going to be speaking on this platform for the very first time. Yes, he's delivering the icebreaker speech. The purpose of the speech is for the member to introduce himself to the club. Ruchir, I hope you are all set. And timer, please note, you already said this, but the time limit for the speech is 4 to 6 minutes. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Toastmaster Ruchir Prasoon. A speech title which has not been decided yet. TBA. TBA is the speech title. Toastmaster Ruchir Prasoon. Over to you.
Sure, thank you. The speech title is actually Icebreaker itself. So, anyways. So I'm Ruchir. I come from the state of Jharkhand. When the state was being created, they were planning to name it as Vananchal. And it was a good, beautiful name. I don't know why they didn't choose it and why they went with like a godforsaken name like Jharkhand. But anyways, so over the years, over my professional life, I've worked in multiple cities. I started my career with Bombay, and I was like quite shocked, when I actually started living there. I was paying a very astronomical amount as rent for a very small place. And then, when the Bombay monsoons came, it became like such a hell, actually. So it took me like quite some convincing to, to take an auto to my office, to convince them that, please just stop me to my office. And after like 4 months of monsoon, I just couldn't understand that, why people love that place. I guess that, they're like stuck there and, they're like forced to say things like, I love Bombay and so on. But after Bombay, I went to another beautiful place called Gurgaon. And with the amazing air quality there, I started wearing masks much before it was fashionable. But after that, I fortunately landed in Bangalore and I really loved my stay there. I spent like close to half a decade there. And I think 6 months back, I shifted to Jakarta. And perhaps I think to finish some of my karmic bonds from my past life. I don't know. I may have like some unfinished business here. So, and I was like quite competitive in school. I just could never understand that, how that Dumbo could score more than me, or how that stupid guy like solved a problem that I couldn't. And this particular attitude of mine, I think, took me to good places. I went to IIT and I also went to ISB for my MBA. And you may think that I'm like quite smart, but actually that's completely not true. I'm only good at two things. I'm good at physics and making people feel like super awkward around me. So I often like don't go beyond just how are you, and then there's like an eerie silence between me and the person next to me, and I just don't know what to talk about. So just the other day, there was this colleague's daughter's birthday that I went to this last weekend, and there's this other lady who came from office who was also in the birthday party, and she came and she was like, quite jumpy and quite, joyous. I don't know what made her like act so. But anyways, she was like giving hugs to everyone and she was like greeting everyone. But she skipped me knowingly, and I don't know why. I just couldn't understand why. I guess that because of my nature, I think I'm being labeled as a weirdo in office. I don't know why. But anyways, I mean, the reason why I joined Toastmasters is that I want to become an articulate weirdo than just a weirdo. So yeah. So yeah, life is difficult anyways for a weirdo like me. I think all these years I've been like working so hard to become good at what I do. And after that, I've become good. The rules have changed suddenly. I need to like be good with people. I need to like engage them. I need to like do small talks. I need to like feel comfortable and feel happy and all of those crap. And I think it seems that what I do doesn't matter anymore. Only the other soft skills matter the most. It seems like I've been like preparing for the wrong exam, and all the questions are like out of syllabus now. But anyways, in my personal life, I have like few likings. I really enjoy watching movies, but not the ordinary types. I don't like the ordinary movies. I have like a different taste in movies. So whenever I and my wife decide to watch a movie, I spend like hours researching for the right movie to watch. And many times she's like already fast asleep when I when I finally select the movie to watch. So I think last time when I actually was able to find the movie in time, she hated it like so much that I think after that time she has never watched a movie with me again. So I think I need to work on that. I have like few other desires. So I have this deep-seated desire to sport a French beard, but I think my mustache and my beard doesn't seem to meet. I mean, there's like few millimeter of gap, which is like impossible to bridge so far. So yeah, I mean, I think I have to like wait for, I don't know for how long, to have a better bald look. I guess I may have to like wait for like many more years. So I guess that's all for today. If you have any tips about the French beard, please do drop me a message. And yeah, I'll just stop here. Thank you.
A man who embraces his weirdo-ness. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for a person who's just broken the ice in a way that was not going to let ice form again. Let me put him on spotlight for one quick second. People, put your hands together. That's a wonderful, wonderful opening speech. Thank you so much, Ruchir, for sharing your story. I would have spoken to you. You seem like the kind of person I would hang out at parties, get drunk with, hug, and discuss life with.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our second speaker is also going to break the ice. So I'm not going to bore you with her speech objectives, but I don't see her on video. Why is that, Sunniva? Did we do something wrong? Yes, I see her on video now. Speaker number 2. Oh, before we do that, Sunniva, can you see the colors changing on the timer screen? Sangeeta Shruti, just one time, please, for our icebreaker. Yes, thank you so much. We cannot hear you if you're saying something.
Yes, I can see that.
Perfect. Speaker number 2, Sunniva Dungdung. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. Sunniva Dungdung.
Thank you, TMOD. Sai. Good evening to everyone. My story began one fine day when my mom entered the door, holding me in her arms, and my 2-year-old sister learned how to throw tantrums. While she was creating a havoc at home, crying and craving for all the attention, I became a blessing, an angel to my parents, as all I did was eat, sleep, and repeat the same. I hail from Rourkela, Orissa. My father is a former employee of Royal Class Steel Plant, and my mother is a doctor, still practicing medicine. I was a silent, shy, obedient child, always doing what was asked of me. I would follow my elder sister everywhere like a small puppy and mimic everything she did, earning me the nickname Dupli from the word duplicate. I cherished my solitude. As I grew up at school, I would love dancing, singing, but when it came to speaking, cat got my tongue. I was an average and outstanding student. You might be wondering, how can someone be average yet outstanding? Well, I used to stand outside the classroom for not doing my homework as a punishment. In my defense, we used to study every day at school and go back home to do what? Study? No ways. I saw my mom work tirelessly at the hospital, and when she would come back, she would open her books. I would complain, and she would say, "Doctors never retire, dear. They have to study for life." From that point on, I was certain I would never become a doctor. But destiny had this plan for me. After ruling out all the other career paths, I decided that medicine was the best fit for me and set off on a path of endless studies. But just when I was about to give my entrance exam, I met with a devastating accident, fracturing my arm. It is during this time that I saw the surgeon stitch my wound. I decided I wanted to become a surgeon. A year passed with physiotherapy, with my arm paralyzed. I didn't qualify for that exam, but I kept my hopes up. My mother would say, "Don't worry, this time will pass." I had to be positive. After all, it's my blood group. Well, after perseverance and hard work, I got admitted in a government medical college in Orissa. Medical college milieu was serious. It was going on well, befriending the human skeleton, burying myself with a pile of huge books, taking power naps in the library, and of course, giving never-ending tests and assignments. But when it came to the nerve-wracking oral exams, I would get cold feet. But I knew this too shall pass. The next hurdle was postgraduate preparation. Boy, I couldn't catch a break. After clearing PG entrance exam, I pursued for masters in surgery for ophthalmology in Ahmedabad. I would work day in and day out, see countless patients and perform surgeries. Completing my thesis was a big task, but finally I became an ophthalmologist. I got married 4 years back and live in Mumbai now. I work in charitable hospital as a program manager in the outskirts of Mumbai. There, I hold eye surgery camps in underserved areas, address meetings about eye health, and give talks to prevent blindness. At Toastmasters, I aspire to become a fluent speaker and sharpen my communication skills and become smart as a whip. With the support of my mentor and fellow Toastmasters, I am hoping to overcome my fear of speaking in public, and I know this too shall pass. Apart from Toastmasters, I am a proud member of Doctors Penmanship Club, where I'm striving to improve my handwriting. Just kidding. Thank you so much. Over to you, Toastmasters. Sai.
Before we let you go, I'm going to ask our audience to understand, firstly, that here is an icebreaker speaker, a person giving a speech for the first time who was able to incorporate the word of the day and the phrase of the day. She made her speech funny and she gave us some food for thought. What if we lived in a world where the culture was that the doctors could write legibly? That is a great opening speech, Toastmaster Sunniva. Thank you so much. And let me get off the spotlight so you can enjoy this moment while we all thank you for the work you did in preparing and delivering a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful icebreaker. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really do wish those days would come at some point. But you know what, Sunniva? You'd be surprised. The other day, we took our kid to the pediatrician. She wrote a prescription on an iPad, got it printed, and gave us a printed prescription. So I'm telling you, the need for penmanship, though it was a joke from your side, the need for penmanship is going to go away because everybody's going to say, you know what, I'm going to go to that pediatrician, or you give me a printed prescription because nobody can read that stuff that you guys write.
I still do write. I still do write
Will
prescriptions.
change. Another 5 years. Everybody has iPads, everybody's printing out things. All right. Anusha, are you feeling warm and ready for your role as the third evaluator for the evening?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to put you on spotlight. Please do tell us how you plan to evaluate our third speaker for the evening, Toastmaster Rashmi.
Hi, my speaker Rashmi, she is attempting,
Level 1 project.
The purpose of our project is for the member to introduce herself to the club and learn the basic structure of public speech. And I would be evaluating based on the evaluation checklist that has been given to me. And all the best to my speaker. Her speech title is, 1 minute, it was...
I'll take care of that. You can let it go, Anusha.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Over to you, Toastmaster. Thank you.
Timer Sangeeta Shruti, this speech was 5 to 7 minutes long. Rashmi, can you see the timing cards change? Can you see a thumbs up? If you can see a thumbs up, you're good.
I can't see a thumbs up. And sorry, just to correct, my speech is level 1, second speech. So the purpose is to give a speech with a purpose, basically.
Right. Sorry, my bad.
No problem.
It's along. If you see along the top strip, you should see the colors changing next to me.
1 second now.
Or
Yes, I can see. I can see now. I can see now. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Sangeeta Shruti. Thank you for flashing the lights continuously.
So,
speaker
thank
three,
you, sir.
1 second. Give me something to do. I'm doing nothing all evening. Just standing on talking. Speaker number 3, Rashmi Aggarwal. How to unlock your inner superpowers through psychometric assessments. How to unlock your inner superpowers through psychometric assessments. Speaker 3, Rashmi.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Toastmaster Sai. So, good evening, Toastmasters. Today, I'm going to talk about unlocking our superpowers through psychometric assessments. Someone said, to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. But have you wondered who we truly are? Have you ever questioned why some individuals effortlessly collaborate while others prefer solitude? Or some thrive in social gatherings while others eagerly seek an escape? Imagine yourself at a career crossroads, equipped with knowledge, skills, and ambition. You are offered an unexpected boarding pass, a personality test. How does it connect to your journey? By the time I conclude today, you will discover how psychometric tests can be your not-so-secret superpower, enriching both your personal and professional life. A bit of etymology of the word psychometry. It has ancient Greek roots, psyche meaning soul or mind, and metron meaning measure. Put together, psychometry means measuring the soul or measuring the mind. Like a measuring tape helps us gauge length, these assessments help us gauge personality. They are like the GPS for our inner selves, helping us navigate the twists and turns of our own minds. Albert Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge. These assessments spark our imagination about who we are and who we can become. They equip us with precise language to understand ourselves better. They reveal our hidden strengths, guide us towards fulfilling careers, and enable personal growth, making us more patient, assertive, or whatever we want. There are multiple personality frameworks, but today we'll touch upon one, the Big 5 personality traits. It's one of the most researched and accepted frameworks describing personality using the 5 broad dimensions. You are high on openness to experience if you have a curious cat in your brain, always chasing new ideas, be it skydiving, knitting, or the purpose of life in the blink of an eye. You're high on conscientiousness if your closet is color coordinated and your spice rack is sorted by cuisine. Do you turn grocery shopping into a party and know everyone's name in your neighborhood? Then you are high on extroversion. You are agreeable if you stop family feuds, cater to everyone's food preferences, and can charm even the grumpiest cat. Lastly, if on some days you are cool as a cucumber, but on others you are convinced the world's ending over a vada pav, you are high on neuroticism. Not surprisingly, Big Five has been associated with various life outcomes, like including job performance, relationship satisfaction, and mental health. You might wonder if one personality type is superior or inferior to another. The truth is, all types are equal and possess innate strengths, and it's up to us to make the most of them. When I first encountered these tests, I couldn't help but wonder if they were like those fortune cooking cookies with insights like you will meet a stranger today, or you are a human and you have a personality. But as it turns out, they go way beyond that. Our personality reports are maps reflecting our inherent strengths, highlighting our natural tendencies, preferred milieu, and illuminating where we shine the brightest. Working on our development areas is an old school approach to success, as our greatest opportunity hinges on nurturing and amplifying our inherent strengths. To reach our highest potential, we should embrace a strengths based approach to life. You can be the best version of yourself by unlocking your personal superpowers. You might be wondering, who am I, trying to fool an audience smart as a whip? When I first got my hands on my psychometric results, it was like opening a magical treasure chest. And inside were my top three strengths: intellection, achievement, and problem solving. This indicated that I had a penchant for pondering and discussing ideas, need for frequent wins, and problem solving cape. Suddenly, I had a roadmap to understand what makes me tick and what job descriptions I should be setting my sights on. It wasn't just about excelling, it was about having a blast doing it. If you are right handed, your instinct extends your right hand, whether receiving flowers or facing a stone pelted at you. Similarly, if you tend to apply our strengths universally, and ironically, those very strengths can become weaknesses through overuse. Sounds counterintuitive, right? For instance, my desire for quick wins drives me to seek the next triumph swiftly. And as a leader, I would not be the one to bring confetti to a party. Likewise, because I enjoy solving problems, I tend to identify problems faster than a detective in a crime novel, which can sometimes make me appear negative. By being aware of these inclinations, I try to self-regulate in such situations and hopefully become more effective. It's also crucial to exercise our left hand from time to time so that it doesn't hinder our success. My test also unveiled traits like my lower aptitude for socializing, making it an area I may not excel in. But when I strive to navigate through my sense of humor to prevent it from becoming a roadblock. Our world teems with wonderfully complex individuals, much like ourselves. Psychometric tests provide a shared language to understand and collaborate effectively. While our personality is largely innate, our awareness and adaptability to different styles determine our effectiveness. As we wrap up, I encourage each of you to embark on your own psychometric adventure. To kickstart this exciting journey, I will share 3 links to available psychometric tests. If they interest you, don't hesitate to reach out to me and unearth your unique strengths, embrace your idiosyncrasies, and unleash your full potential. To conclude, the key to success is to know yourself, embrace your uniqueness, and make them your superpowers. Thank you.
All I'm impressed with is that you brought humor into a technical topic like psychometry. It's commendable. It's something I've never been able to do. You were discussing psychometrics, but you're throwing in jokes here and there and everywhere. Very nice. And you also said that humor is your secret superpower. You don't like small talk, but you are funny. That's nice. Good job. Nice combination of skills. I think it's time to move on to the man with the cafe, the man who can feed us in the event of an emergency. We can just drive over to our fourth speaker for the evening, Toastmaster Saurabh Patil. But before we do that, we have to make sure that we give him a sandwich, which is commendations, recommendations, and commendations, so that he has sandwiches ready for us when we go to him. And to give him his sandwich is evaluator number 4, Toastmaster Pranav Advani.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Sai. The purpose of Toastmaster Saurav's speech today is for him to share some of his leadership experience that he's learned and the lessons that he's learned while during his course of his life. Over to you, Toastmaster Saurabh.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Saurabh, one second. Hold on. We have lots to discuss before we start. Before you start, can you check if you can see the timing cards changing?
Yeah, I can.
All right. Toastmaster Saurabh Patil, Dr. Saurabh Patil. My 7 lessons from my cafe. Toastmaster Dr. Saurabh Patil.
Well, thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. Today, I'm going to discuss a few valuable lessons that I learned from starting up a cafe. Being the leader who started the cafe, the journey that is filled with so many challenges, success, and most importantly, a treasure trove of lessons that definitely taught me a lot as a leader and which I applied eventually in the business. So let's begin. So the first lesson is passion is foundation. Every successful cafe begins with some deep passion of coffee and hospitality. In my case, it was a love and for the not only rich aroma but the uh, different delicacies that I wanted to serve. And during our meetings in the cafe, I learned from my team that the leadership that you can provide with the passion, it definitely serves as a foundation. It fuels your determination and it definitely inspires my team, which I saw reflecting in them when I shared the deep passion to connect with the customers. As a leader who is passionate about transforming a simple cafe into a vibrant welcome experience. Number 2, adaptability is key. Cafe can be notorious for its ever-changing landscape. Trends do change, cafes come and go, there are perceptions, and customers shift their preferences. Competition is fierce. There's a lot I learned from my team. And that is what taught me, during our team meetings in the cafe, that adaptability is essential part of the business. We have to embrace change. We have to keep upgrading. We have to keep up with the industry trends that go around. In the world of this kind of a business, rigidity is the only thing that can lead to stagnation, whereas adaptability can pave the way for growth. Third thing, building a strong team. When we started this, we had only one man in the kitchen. And, based on the feedback from people, I understood that you need a strong team who can take the ownership, team who can give the experience to the people, team you know, who can be fostering positive work or fostering positive experience to the people or the customers. When I went to JW Marriott once, I read a very good phrase there. We take care of a team, and a team take care of the customers, and it truly transformed it. Hiring a good team definitely helps you, and it's not just about getting good employees with a good pay. It is something where you get a talent who can put their heart and soul just like you. You can feel the passion, the enthusiasm, the dedication that they show. And that will definitely pave way for loyal customers. Fourth, most important thing, customer experience is priority. When I wanted to start this cafe business, I thought I had it in my mind. I wanted the cafe to be a melleur, a place where everybody can have a positive and a social setting, yet be comfortable and cozy. And that's when I understood that customer experience is the priority. The way the ambience is, the way the service is. We just shared the ambience a few minutes back before starting the meeting with some of our members. And I really saw some great reactions. Then I learned that the most important priority is the customer experience that is non-negotiable. You cannot compromise in that. If you need loyal customers, if you need good customers, you need to spread the word about the experience that the customers come into the cafe. It's about not just about the mere experience. It's about creating a memorable moments for your patrons. And that is why we named our cafe Eat, Talk, Cherish. You come here, you eat, you have some chit chats with your loved ones, and you cherish those moments for your lifetime. The fifth and most important lesson, every businessman, I think for every businessman, it's important. And a few of my team members, or in fact, all my team members during our team meetings taught me to, be meticulous about it. Financial savvy is a must. Running a cafe involves brewing, not just brewing coffee or not just tea. It's more about, having a grasp of your finances. In this kind of an industry, there are so many leakages, financial leakages. There's so many places where you don't realize your money is flowing out without you noticing it. And that is where I learned the art of budgeting, cost controls, understanding the profits, understanding the margins, how to save them, what is crucial. Leaders must not only be passionate about their product or their business, they should also be vigilant about the financial health of the business. Otherwise, we all know where the trajectory can lead, and then you may sound like a very smart person, but it won't make sense if you don't have a financial knowledge about it. Lesson 6: community engagement. Cafes pave way for a lot of celebrations, birthday parties, communities, celebrations, kitty parties, and various other celebrations that we can run. When I started this cafe as a leader, I understood that community engagement would come only when we allow community celebrations in the cafe. We interact with people. We let people come in with different celebrations. And that is one thing where we are today celebrating. We are allowing so many birthday parties that taught me a different lesson. And the last but not the least, perseverance and resilience. We started in COVID, 2021 lockdown. The second wave was something that hit us hard. When we started in 2020, we thought we are going to grow. We're going to grow like crazy. But when the second wave hit us, we were only, me, my partner, and our team was the only one in the cafe throughout the day for 2 months. We thought this is the end of it. I wanted to quit. I thought I'm done. My team was the one who encouraged us. This too shall pass. Stay here, stay on track, and we will grow. And that's what happened. We learned that perseverance is the key, and we were resilient enough to pass that time. And today we have come out of it, we have grown, and I believe, and I'm glad I believed in the passion and listened to my team and continue. So, in conclusion, there are these 7 lessons that I learned, the most important lessons about starting up a cafe. The most valuable lessons that make me a better transformed entrepreneur. Some of the lessons which my team taught during our team meetings. Now they know what kind of a leader I am, and today I can proudly say we have much more miles to go ahead. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
We've created a good culture in this meeting because one of our later speakers is using the catchphrase of a previous speaker. This is a great place. This is the speeches are making an impact clearly, because Sunniva, did you notice that your phrase of "this too shall pass" was used by Saurabh as well? Nice. All right, let's do the last speaker for the day, but we have a change of guards when it comes to the last speaker for the day. I am going to take over as the timer, which means that you will see less of me and more of the background behind me. And let me quickly spotlight the 5th evaluator. And I'll ask the 5th speaker to maybe work with me a little to make sure that the timing signals are visible to you. But before we do that, let me call up Sangeeta Shruti to explain to us how she plans to evaluate speaker number 5.
Namaskar, I am the evaluator for our 5th speaker for today, Toastmaster Nidhi. Toastmaster Nidhi is giving her level 2, project 2, and the objective of her speech is to talk about different communication styles and identify her communication style. I will be evaluating her according to the checklist provided to me and will present my report when called on by the general evaluator. Toastmaster of the day, you are on mute.
I realize. Nidhi, I'm going to put you on spotlight, and you are on spotlight right now. I'm going to be a timer, so please, I'm going to change the screen. Do let me know if you can see the changing screens. Let's start with this guy, and I hope I'm not blocking you from the recording. It's going to be really bad if that happens.
see. I
No,
mean, I have to see at you, right?
can you see the background? Is it what color do you see now?
White, green, okay. Yellow, perfect.
Wait a second. Let me put it back to this guy. Toastmaster Nidhi Jajda, the lifelong journey of communication from birth to farewell. The lifelong journey of communication from birth to farewell. Give me 1 second. Hi. Toastmaster Nidhi Jajda.
From our first cries to our final movement, communication shapes our entire life's journey. It's the language of our existence, connecting us in a way beyond words. Good evening, TMOD fellow Toastmasters and guest members. My topic for today is the lifelong journey of communication from birth to farewell. The story of communication is a profound journey that encompasses our entire lives, from the very moment we are born until our final farewell. It is a journey that begins with the primal crisis of an infant and evolves into an intricate mechanism of the language and connections that define our existence. In this narrative, I'm going to explore you all the beauty of the communication throughout the various stages of our life, from being at the mark of the birth till the end of our death. First, the dawn of an expression infancy. The journey of communication commences at the instant of birth. And as an infant, like we cry, the first utterance of a life is the primal form of a communication, where we signifies that the beginning of our quest to interact with the world. In these early moments, communication is raw and emotional and instinctual. Parents and mostly the mothers, the caregivers, learn the subtlety of the baby's cries, responding with the care and the love, whether we are hungry or we are sleepy or do we need something else. This is the creation of the first bond of our connections in a life. Second would be the easy childhood, where the emergence of a language, where we start developing ourselves. As child grow, the capacity for the communication evolves, like babbling, a playful exploration of sounds, an expression, mama, 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 papa, pa, transforms into various languages. Word begins to emerge, and children eagerly soak up the languages of the environment. This period is basically marked by the beauty of linguistic development as children progress from babbling to forming their first correct sentences. The ability to articulate the needs of the desire, the emotions which they express open up, and the new doors to understanding the world and the connection. The third would be the adolescence and the adulthood, where we all are majorly a part of it, the refinement and the mastery. This journey of communication continues through the adolescence and continue being in adulthood, marked by an ever increasing complexities. Language skills mature and individuals becomes proficient in whatever way they are expressing in their thoughts, emotion, ideas. They learn the art of the conversation, active listening, and subtleties of non-verbal communication. Sometimes we don't need to communicate vocally. Sometimes our eye contact, the way our body expressions, and everything are enough to refine the communication needed. The beauty of this stage is the acquisition of the tools necessary for forming our deeper, meaningful relationships. Relationship from our parents, relationship from our partner, relationship from our colleagues, friends, and all the people across the societies. These communication helps us in building relationships, but also resolving conflicts and navigating the intricacies of personal and professional lives, which would be needed in our further life. When you are come enter into the middle age, the communication is the prime of life, because as individuals utilize their refined communication skills to build careers, establish families, and connect with the communities. They communicate even to express the share, the joy, happiness, and the support the loved ones during these challenges times, especially when we were in COVID. we have seen that we were connected through social medias and having a primary mode of communication because we all need each other. Beauty of this stage lies in the maturity and wisdom gained through a lifetime of communication experiences. Next would be the elderhood, the second last, the reflection and the legacy. As individuals enter to their elder years, around 60s, communication takes on to the new significance. Conversations become opportunity to reflect on a lifetime of experiences, share their wisdoms, passes on the cherished stories and the life lessons. In this twilight of life, the beauty of communication is the preservation of the memories and the connection between the generations. Elders impart their knowledge to the young, leaving a legacy through the stories they tell. And the final farewell, would be the silent goodbye. As life near its end, communication may changes. Beauty of communication during this stage is often found as the silent, profound connection between the loved ones. Word may become fewer, but the power of the touch, the shared glances, and the unspoken understanding between the family and the friends convey the deeper meaning and the emotion and the comfort. I have personally experienced this when my grandfather was paralyzed and couldn't speak for 6 long years. He was in his last stages of life. But the way this was a silent communication, but the way he used to communicate to us by watching, by looking at us, being emotional, being sensitive, and just we used to get an each and every conversation. We never realized that we actually never verbally communicate. So I want to conclude by saying that journey of communication from birth to death is a lifelong expedition of a human connection and expression, but it encompasses the primal cries, the emergence of language, the mastery of conversation, and the reflection on of lifetimes of worth experience. At the end, when words may fail, the beauty of communication persists in the profound connection throughout their life, leaving an enduring impact and the lasting legacy that transcends the boundaries of the language. Over to you, TMOD. Thank you.
All right. Replace spotlight. This is me back in the hot seat. Sangeeta Shruti, I'll message you the timing that Nidhi took so that you can report it to, at the end. Well, let me do that right now because next thing is going to be me asking Sangeeta Shruti what the timing was. So let's not delay too much. Ladies and gentlemen, I am no longer the timer, so forget the background. It's just me doing what I need to do next, which is to call up our timer for the evening, who's wearing multiple hats. Sangeeta Shruti, if you could tell us what the timing reports were for all our speakers, that'd be wonderful.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Toastmasters guests, namaskar. I am Sangeeta Shruti, the last minute timer for today. I have now with me the timing report for our prepared speakers, who are far more prepared than I was for sure. We have Toastmaster Ruchir. He had a time limit of 4 to 6 minutes. He spoke for 5 minutes and 51 seconds. Toastmaster Dr. Sunniva, 4 to 6 minutes, 4 minutes and 59 seconds. Toastmaster Rashmi, who could speak for 5 to 7 minutes, she spoke for 6 minutes and 2 seconds. Dr. Saurabh, who could speak for 5 to 7 minutes, he spoke for 7 minutes and 1 second. Toastmaster Nidhi, who could speak for 5 to 7 minutes, and I have no idea how long she spoke because I haven't received a message. She spoke for 6 minutes and 40 seconds. So I am happy to announce that all speakers are qualified for voting. Zoom Master to kindly note. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much. Yes, good save there. Good save by checking your messages right before you started complaining. The timing was not available to you, but the timing was. This is the milieu we live in. Fast life, lots of action. Thank you, to all our speakers. Thank you to all our evaluators for putting your thinking hats on while listening to a speech. And I want to maybe add a little bit more about culture. The culture that we live in, the culture that we as Indians live in is... Whoa, somebody didn't like the conversation about culture. Anyway, the culture we live in is the culture of, if you just look outside the window, you can see the culture as it exists today. There is people going the wrong way on the roads, people honking just because they need to get to the next traffic light a little faster than everybody else so that they can wait there rather than wait behind you on the road. People helping each other. There is Mumbai. If there's Mumbai, there's always Mumbai rains that we can discuss. And in the middle of all those rains, people extend a helping hand. They walk with each other when the roads are flooded. They make sure the person next to them doesn't fall into a ditch and gets washed away. That is the culture we live in, the culture of friction when you're driving, but a lot of love and support for each other when you're not driving, but you're still using the roads together. And this actually, ladies and gentlemen, comes from something called the tragedy of the commons. And that's also a cultural thing. The history behind the tragedy of the commons was that back in the old England, Scotland, those areas where there was lots of lambs and very little grazing land, there used to be all these common patches of grass that people could just graze their sheep on. And it used to be that the people who used to get to the grasslands early, their sheep used to go and graze everything, and that's it. And there was no grass left for anybody else. And that common land became contested because everybody is so upset that their sheep were not being allowed to graze. And that became the tragedy of the commons, because the people who came first didn't used to think about the people who would come later. They would never hold back from telling their sheep or taking their sheep to a different place to graze once their sheep had started. So that was the tragedy of the commons. And that is also a cultural thing, that do you look out for each other? And that's how culture evolves. Do you make sure the person next to you has the support, and are they fitting in with everybody else? Do you reach out in their moment of need, or do you ask for help when you need help? That is cultural. That the ability and the belief that asking for help or offering help will not be rejected by the other person is part of culture. And you as leaders need that knowledge that even the smallest organization in the world needs culture. Let's take a big example. There's the army, right? It has a culture of responsibility and ownership. There are people who are in the hierarchy. There are rank holders in the army. There's the armed captain, major, all those things. They are responsible, of course, but the responsibility of the individual goes down to the infantryman level and the non-commanding officer right before them. That is at the army. So yes, there is a culture of the army responsibility and things like that. But how does this apply to you in your daily life? Do you understand? Do you realize that the way you carry yourself is the culture of the organization that you either own or lead or represent? So keep that in mind the next time you need to figure out what to do next, because like they say, culture eats strategy for breakfast. You can have the most amazing plans to execute, but if the team is not, if the culture of the team is not of either pushing hard or thinking through the small things that matter, then you're going to fail. Let's take an example of that. There was a space shuttle that needed to go into space, and it turned out that there was a culture of silence at NASA, where the people below, people who knew, the engineers and the technicians who knew that the space shuttle was not safe for use for human flight, they spoke up, but they were ignored. And that culture led to the death of so many astronauts in an explosion. So the culture that you create in your organization, be it the smallest organization of 5 people, BKC Fireflies is a great instance. It's a small club, but we're trying to create a culture of support and help. So that is going to affect any strategy. It's going to affect any outcome that you can hope for. So, ladies and gentlemen, culture matters, and culture is what you do on a daily basis, not when people are looking at you. That's what creates culture. And please remember that the next time you have a choice to make. What kind of culture do you want to create in your family, in your work, everywhere? Toastmasters has a culture as well. Is the culture of giving feedback, which is supportive. And that feedback is going to be led by our general evaluator for the evening, Toastmaster Gunjan Mallik, who told us in the beginning that he is an accidental Toastmaster. He was friends with somebody who was a Toastmaster who dragged him into becoming a member of Speakers and, oh man, I keep saying the Students and Corporates United Toastmasters Club. And now here he is as a general evaluator, a person who's embraced Toastmasters and enjoys it as much as I do. Toastmaster Gunjan, over to you to run the evaluation portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sai, for that wonderful welcome and the energetic role that you have played all throughout the evening. It's an inspiration to learn from. Going ahead, before I begin the general evaluation, we'll go, as the tradition is, with the individual speech evaluations, and I'll be assisted by some of the very able Toastmasters So as I speak up, please take the virtual podium and deliver your speech evaluations. So for the first speech of the day for Toastmaster Ruchi, we have Toastmaster Sandhya. Request Toastmaster Sandhya to present her evaluation. Also, please make sure that you have been the timer. 2 to 3 minutes is the time for all the evaluators. Request to stick to your time. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Gunjan, and thank you, Timer, Toastmaster Sangeeta Shruti. Yes, I can see the timer cards change. Well, Toastmaster Ruchir, the man who thinks he's weird and who wants to sport a French beard. I loved listening to you, Toastmaster Ruchir, and I have I will club them into 3 reasons why I loved listening to you today. And those 3 things are, first one is because you are a person who is extremely comfortable in your skin and who dares to be different. I will tell you why in a minute. Secondly, I loved your speech because you had a running theme about your personality throughout the speech. And that also I will tell you what it was. Thirdly, I loved your sense of humor and your wit, and your vocabulary reflected that throughout the speech. So let me come to the first point. You dare to be different. Now, what was different about your speech? You gave an icebreaker speech. You introduced yourself to the club. You told us a little bit about you, about yourself, but you told that very differently. Usually, an icebreaker starts with somebody talking about their childhood, then moving on to middle age, profession, currently what they're doing, what they expect from Toastmasters, etc. That's the chronology that's usually followed. But you did not do that. You started telling us about all the places that you've lived in, why you were disappointed with those places, even names of some of those places disappointed you. Then you moved on to your professional work, why that has disappointed you. And there you also gave us a reflection about your personality. And then finally you came to your personal life. And there again, you gave us a reflection about your personality. And that is what I mean by the second thing, that there was a running theme throughout the speech. That is, you kept telling us that you think of yourself as an articulate, weird person. Now, you think you were weird because in professional life, you find it difficult to do small talks. You find it difficult, you think you're articulate, but people find you weird. Your relationship with your wife, you then came to your personal life. There again, you told us that things are weird because you take hours to decide on what movie to watch. Now, that was a small example, but that gave us a very good reflection about what your personality is about and what you think about yourself. So these are the things that will stay in my mind about Ruchir as a person. And I don't think you showed us today that an icebreaker speech actually does not need that chronological history of a person's life, where the person studied in school, what they studied, how was college life, how was professional life, etc. Nothing of that is needed. One can still introduce oneself to the club by just highlighting these incidents that the person thinks reflect the person's personality. And that is what you did today, and that's what I loved about it. The third thing that I loved, like I said, is the use of your vocabulary. You had some very good phrases like you started wearing masks before it became fashionable. You were preparing for the wrong exam. Now, these were hilarious, they were witty, they were funny, and that also gave us a reflection about you as a person and you as a speaker, that you are a funny speaker. You had this straight deadpan face, but you still have so much humor. And that is the sense of humor that I really love. So, Toastmaster Ruchir, I loved your speech and I want to listen more about this weird guy telling us more jokes, getting us a lot of humor in his speeches in the upcoming meetings. So, all the best, Toastmaster Ruchir. Congratulations on becoming a Toastmaster. Welcome to BKC Fireflies. And all of us here are looking forward to your future speeches. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sandhya. Am I audible? Somebody can give a thumbs up. Thank you. That was a very wonderful and articulate evaluation. For Toastmaster Ruchir, I have just one tip. As you said, you want to be more articulate, and a part of that as a speaker, in my opinion and my experience, which I've learned from better speakers, is when we stand and deliver, you are at your audience's level. An audience loves somebody who can look them into eye. It is difficult on an online platform, but I would prefer you to practice it. That would help you to not only stand out in a crowd, but mingle in a crowd. Stand and deliver. That is what I've learned from my seniors, and that is what I can give to you as. Going ahead, we have the second evaluation of the evening of Toastmaster Sunniva's speech by Toastmaster Tanuja. So request Toastmaster Tanuja to take the podium. Thank you.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Toastmaster Sunniva, first of all, congratulations for your icebreaker speech. Not because it's your icebreaker speech, but actually I struggle to believe that this is the first speech. And because you were quite confident, your fluency, your good hold of the language, and cherry on the icing is your smile. Such a beautiful, innocent smile. You started with that cute little smile and you sustained that till the end. It's like you appeared, you smiled, and you conquered our heart. You gave a touch of humor in your speech and present your issue with humor. That shows us your personality side. Small tangents like eat, sleep, and play, average outstanding student, I have to be positive. After all, it's my blood group. Sorry for that. You know, all this tangent make your speech very light and catchy. You fulfill all the purpose from your speech. This. We understood a side of your personality. Only one side, because to understand one person, it takes more than a lifetime. And of course, you definitely know ABC of speech. You were confident and you were very comfortable in your skin on the camera itself. I really don't have much to add on, but I have to. So the suggestion is you can inculcate a small pauses in between two episodes. You know, when you shift from one episode to another, like you were sharing your school day stories, and then you started with your mama's story, like when she comes home and she sits with books, and then you decided, oh, she works entire time and I don't want to be like that. That was a turning point. That was a very important thing that you learn from that episode. So there are more episodes like that, and you were continuously going on and on. So I find it a bit difficult. So if you take pauses in between, small pauses in between, for us audience to understand what is happening, what you exactly want to present, it would have been very helpful. And one more tricky thing, you were looking in between here and there. You were reading your script. You should avoid that. It is very visible, though you are on screen. So you should avoid that. Actually, you don't no need to do that. You have a good hold on your language, and you practice a bit more. You will be able to deliver your speech very confidently. And just take small pauses in between. That's all from my side. And you are absolutely wonderful with humor. So continue with that. All the very best for your journey. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tanuja. And indeed, Toastmaster Sunniva, if I may use the pun, it was a surgical precision with which you went ahead, as smart as a whip. And going ahead, now let's move on to the third speech by Toastmaster Rashmi, which will be evaluated by Toastmaster Anusha. Request Toastmaster Anusha to take the podium and deliver the evaluation. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My apologies at the start. I couldn't explain the purpose of my speaker correctly, and Rashmi pointed it out. And thank you for that. So her speech title was How to Unlock Your Inner Superpowers Through Psychometric Assessment. And the purpose was very clear. I mean, Rashmi, you did it very clear that it was to create awareness to us present to take psychometric tests so that we can excel in our life, embrace the strength that we have, our superpowers. The current Milayu is that we can take help. Like, there's so much of awareness of mental awareness, mental health. All these attributes at some way, we get frustrated, we don't know what to do. All these tests help us excel, identify what we can do, what are we good at, so that we can do that and be happy in life. So you definitely hit the purpose right, got the speech purpose right, at least got to know that, it can help. But you could have asked the question, how many of you have taken psychometric test? So you would have got an idea that, yes, my audience knows about it, and accordingly, take it forward. But it was more of an, mono journey that you are doing, like, uh, reading your thing one after the other. But I could also say that, you could have used your 7 minutes, use 6 minutes, 0 to a second. So you could have used the 7 minutes with some pauses, with some interaction. It would have been great, because psychometric test is a very interesting test. You could have done a small test, three questions, something like that. And but yes, that definitely would have some more work to be done. But I have enjoyed psychometric tests. I can just play with the questions, and the way I want to do it, it happens. Sometimes it doesn't. So overall, a great topic. You had the speech was well written, well researched, I would say. And anybody who wants to be as smart as a wimp should surely take up this test, so that they can get better and improve themselves, or at least know which will actually give them happiness. So it was definitely bang on to topic, and you definitely portrayed how you are given the test, and your three strengths, that is problem solving, achievement, and intellect, were forcing in the test, which helped you to excel in your work as well. So audience awareness, I mean, if you would have created it, it would have been there. I mean, I would have loved that to happen. And if the space of your speech was a little bit, because you could have used or 7 minutes, you were in a hurry to complete it. So, I also missed few points. But overall, because I know psychometric test, how it is, and you had also given few points, so I could make up. But overall, I can to summarize, like recommendation. I follow the CRC method. So recommendation is definitely go slow, give some pause, interact with the audience, take some input, and with respect to your speech, the overall it was a great, well written speech, well researched speech, and you know about the topic. That's very, very good and very nice to hear. And you were able to meet your objective. That is, the purpose of the speech was to how psychometric tests can unlock. You were able to give that information to the audience. So that was well done. Thank you very much. And over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anusha, for that very detailed evaluation. Toastmaster Rashmi, that apart from what Toastmaster Anusha has very rightly pointed out, I really commend you that you, at the end, when you told that there are some resources which you're going to share, that is a takeaway and very important for the audience. One, I would not say grudge, just an opinion. Since your title was very different, right? You had a very long title. If I were you, I would have used that as a shock and awe tactics. Do you want to have superpowers without having to undergo what Superman did or what Batman did? If you're not a billionaire, do you just want to use that shock and awe? That helps break that ice, because you're going to talk about something which is very dense. So, and make sure that the examples, when you had that 5 different categories, right, or types, if you could give a universal example which people can identify with, that would be a easier thing. Personally, I think you had a lot of data, so just try to lighten it a bit. And but a wonderful speech, thank you. And for the last speech of the day, is it last? No. The second last speech by Toastmaster Saurabh will be evaluated by Toastmaster Pranav. So the podium is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Saurabh, for that wonderful speech. You are clearly smart as a whip for having analyzed these life lessons and sharing these with us. I don't feel that you could, you're just a doctor. I'm pretty sure that you're a secret philosopher, moonlighting as a doctor, moonlighting / as a cafe owner as well. I also dare say, Dr. Saurabh, that you could be a book writer, and this would be a great book that you could sell with these life lessons that you have, because they were that good life lessons. From your speech, Toastmaster Saurabh, I also loved the way that you started your speech. You know, where you spoke about how while running a cafe, you've learned a lot of things, and you said successes and a couple of other things. And then you said, most importantly, I have also learned how to, and in my head, I heard failure, because I thought that is what you're going to say, but you very nicely twisted it to say lessons. To paraphrase Thomas Alva Edison, when he said that I learned, I did not fail 1,000 times. I just learned 1,000 ways to 1,000 lessons from these adventures that I've done. So I think that's a great way for you to begin your speech, and also your content is by far one of the most enriching contents that I've ever heard in a speech. But Toastmaster, there are a couple of things that I did find which I'd like to highlight to you. There are 3 major things that I'd like to talk about today. The first is, in all the live lessons that you gave, how does it affect our milieu is something that you didn't very clearly identify. You know, as a normal bystander who does not a cafe owner, would probably not be able to understand or resonate with your life lessons, because most of the examples that you gave were connected to your cafe. Like, for example, when you spoke about, managing your finances, you could have spoken about how people will wait for the salary day, the EMIs that they have to pay, the rents that they have to incur, and things like that. That's a problem that others face, which is something that you could have very easily associated with. Or when you talk about building the right team, most of us are corporate employees. You could have spoken about how it's important for us to function in a dynamic corporate environment, and it's important to function in a strong team setup. So this creates an associability with what you're saying and the lessons that you have, because you want your lessons to be wide-ranging and applicable to many people. The second is that from your life lessons, we didn't understand where most of our life lessons originated from. Whereas last lesson, 7th lesson of perseverance originated from, we understood from, which was from COVID. But where did your other life lessons originate from is something that we didn't find in your speech. So I think that is something that you could have incorporated. Also, one last thing that I would like to highlight is that while you're making your speech itself, there are a couple of small things that you should keep in mind. Like when you're creating your curating your content. So the first thing is that there was a point in the speech where you said it was completely non-negotiable. I could not compromise on it. Both of them mean the same thing, Toastmaster Saurabh. Or where you spoke right at the end, where you said, I want to be a better transformed entrepreneur. You could be in a better entrepreneur or a transformed entrepreneur. You cannot be both, right? So, and also your speech title itself, My 7 Lessons from My Cafe. Now, whether these are your lessons or your cafe's lessons or just lessons in general, that's something that you should think about. All in all, I feel that if you do write the book, I would probably not buy it, because I already know your life lessons. Best of luck, Toastmaster Saurabh. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pranav, for that wonderful evaluation of Toastmaster Saurabh. Saurabh, I have just, as a speaker, only one observation to make. I personally feel, again, the same thing. If you stand and deliver, as you said, the customer satisfaction, it's an important thing for me as an audience, because that's what I have seen all the perhaps decade of being a Toastmaster. That's the only lesson. Due to paucity of time, we'll move fast to the last speech evaluation of Toastmaster Nidhi by Toastmaster Sangeeta Shruti. So over to you, Sangeeta.
Before I start, we have to have Toastmaster Sai fixed up as the timer.
Yeah, I guess he should be ready. So Toastmaster Sai, are you ready? Just
Can you please show me the transitions? Okay, good to go. General Evaluator, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmasters, friends, and my target speaker, Toastmaster Nidhi. Namaskar, I am Sangeeta Shruti. The objective of my target speaker speech was to talk about communication styles, which we will come to in a bit. But let me go to all the checkboxes she has ticked. Tick, 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 tick. First tick was language. A beautiful use of English, a lot of speechcraft, a lot of innuendo, nicely crafted, nicely written speech. Something I loved about your speech, Toastmaster Nidhi, is also the structure and transitions. As you transition through the various live stages, you were consistent. The transitions made sense. They spoke about each live stage. Also, what I noticed was, as the live stages progressed, the length at which you delved into them progressed. So a small infant was over in, say, 30 seconds or a few seconds, whereas an adult, where most of the communication happens, had almost a minute in your speech. So you had apportioned and timed the live stages accordingly, which is a non-verbal way of giving them importance. It is like underlining and highlighting a passage. Very nice indeed. I commend you on the thought process and the research that has gone on to this and all the nuances that you have put down about communications here. I would not be doing my job if I were not enthusiastically nitpicking. So I would give you a few recommendations to take you to the next level. First and foremost, Toastmaster Nidhi, the power of a pause. I said nothing great, but I made you wait and hang on to my word. This is one of the first lessons I learned in Toastmasters, and one of the most important lessons I would pass on to any Toastmaster that I meet. A pause acts as a punctuation. It will separate what you're trying to say. When you're going from one live stage to the other, a pause will separate them. So these pauses will emphasize. Pauses are one of your best friends. Second thing, voice modulation. My grandfather went through a phase where he could not communicate. He could not speak. And yet, we understood every word he said. You see, Toastmaster Nidhi, you connect. Emotions connect. Facts only enrich the knowledge. Facts make you Google Baba. But emotions connect you to your audience. And that connect would have been very good had you used your skill for voice modulation. Thirdly, I am going to address the elephant in the room. Your project objective was to talk about different communication styles and to tell us about your communication style. I am sorry, I did not see that in your speech. You did not talk about analytical communicators, intuitive communicator, functional, personal communicator, direct, indirect communicator. And we don't know what kind of communicator you are. Like, for example, I can tell you I'm an analytical direct communicator. So whether the objective of the project has been completed is a question I will leave to the VP Ed of the club. And to take you to the next level, the challenge I have for you is to choose a crisp and short title. Let it be a trailer, not an explanation. With that, over to you, General Evaluator. Namaskar.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sangeeta. And again, for Toastmaster Nidhi, as she said, your evaluator, that emotions are important. If I were you, I would have started with the most emotional part, because that gives you an instant connect. I looked at my grandfather, though silent he had been for 6 years, yet every word unsaid I could feel. That connects. So start with a connection which gives you instant tracking. Thank you for all the evaluators who have been very, very supportive, who have taken their time, their skills and their analysis, and given crisp evaluations and points for all the speakers to excel and make sure that they go to the next level with the pedestals that have been put forth. With that, we'll go to the tag team report. I think timer report has been given. So keeping in, again, time factor, we will go to the R counters report. Request Toastmaster Shekhar to present R counters report for the day. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster Shekhar.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator. Mr. Gunjan. To begin with, I would like to present my counter report. Dr. Saurabh Patil, in the beginning, he was flawless, but when he gave his speech of my 7 lessons for my cafe, he mentioned 5 times Toastmaster Sandhya was flawless during her speech, but as a presiding officer, she had mentioned 13 times. Toastmaster Sai, who has taken the stage maximum number of time, was 100% flawless. Toastmaster Ruchir, speaker number 1, he mentioned 5 times. Toastmaster Sandhya, evaluator, flawless. Toastmaster Sunniva, she was flawless. Toastmaster Anusha, evaluator number 3, flawless. Toastmaster Rashmi Aggarwal, speaker number 3, flawless. Toastmaster Pranav, he mentioned 4 times before his evaluation speech, and he had during the evaluation 17 times. So Toastmaster Pranav, both the reports I have given. Then Toastmaster Sangeeta, flawless. Toastmaster Nidhi, speaker, flawless. Toastmaster Gunjan, flawless. Toastmaster Sandhya, flawless. Toastmaster Tanuja, flawless. Toastmaster Anusha, 3 times and Toastmaster Sangeeta, flawless. That completes my counter report. Thank you very much. Over
Thank
to
you. A round of
General
applause for the flawless report by our counter, Toastmaster Shekhar. With that, I request our grammarian of the day, Toastmaster Gina, to come and present her report.
Okay, so I am going to take Toastmaster Gunjan's advice and present standing. Okay, so I think as a grammarian, I was extremely happy. I loved the wonderful usages of the language. We heard some wonderful phrases, which some phrases we don't know, but we don't end up using that often. So it was really nice to see the phrases that were used today. So there were phrases like unfinished business, eerie silence, deep-seated desire. There were words like havoc, phrases like cat got my tongue, nerve-wracking, cold feet, and of course, this too shall pass. There were also some nice quotes where in a world that's constantly trying to change us, being ourselves is really quite a task, which we all agree and identify with. Words like solitude, etymology, psychometry, phrases like cool as a cucumber, innate strength, counterintuitive idiosyncrasies, words like delicacies, vibrant space, ambience. Again, a quote that first we take care of our team and then our team takes care of you. Words like financial savvy, meticulous, trajectory, vigilant, resilience, utterance, primal, babbling, twilight of life. That's a phrase we don't use all that often. Extend a helping hand, patriarchy, tragedy of commons, culture eating strategy for breakfast. Some words, a phrase, running theme, surgical evaluation, moonlighting, paraphrasing, associability, curating, and nuances. In terms of areas of improvement, there were some phrases. It could also be because people were giving speeches, so you do tend to be a little stressed. So what we typically do say correctly in such situations, we do sometimes get wrong. So maybe that's the reason. But some phrases like such a hell, instead of that, you can say became hell. There was a colleague's birthday party. So instead of that, you can say a colleague had thrown a party. Instead of jumpy, because I think the context in the jumpy was used was to say that the person was very excited. Jumpy means nervous. So I think maybe the person meant to say joyous or excited. One phrase was small talks. It's small talk in the singular. Those crap could ideally be that crap. Instead of saying I and somebody, you say somebody and I. So you put yourself last, typically. Then, yeah, I think there was one phrase, elderhood. Elderhood is not a phrase. You can instead say old age. And so the word tangent means to digress. So I'm not sure the context in which it was used. I don't think that was the meaning. But again, I am just conjecturing here. So pardon me if you meant that and I didn't understand it. Yeah, I think that's about it. In terms of the word of the day and phrase of the day, I think it was used by Toastmaster Sai, Toastmaster Sunniva, Toastmaster Rashmi, Toastmaster Dr. Saurabh, Toastmaster Gunjan, Toastmaster Anusha, and Toastmaster Pranav. I think as a grammarian, I've had a field day. Thank you so much, and over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jinal, for first respecting what I said and standing up, delivering wonderful report. We actually, as you said, we had a field day and everybody ran riot with words, the vocabulary. One thing which I noticed is somebody pronounced penchant. The pronunciation is penchant. It's difficult. English is a difficult language, and I too learned it the hard way. Thank you, all my tag team. You have been very, very supportive. I again request our ad hoc timer and role player, extra role player, Toastmaster Sangeet Choudhury to give us timings and just the evaluators who have qualified. If all are qualified, or you could just name the ones who have qualified. And the timings, I think that will help all of them. Yes, please. If you
So
could
do I read the timings for everyone or no?
Yes, please.
Okay. Toastmaster Sandhya took 4 minutes and 8 seconds. Toastmaster Tanuja took 3 minutes and 56 seconds. Toastmaster Anusha took 3 minutes and 53 seconds. By this time, I was fearing no one will qualify. Toastmaster Pranav took 3 minutes and 23 seconds. He is qualified. Toastmaster Sangeeta Shruti, according to Toastmaster Sai, took 3 minutes and 21 seconds. That is for the timer report. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you. So we have 2 qualifications for Desk Evaluator today. And I'll begin my evaluation of the meeting. First of all, thanks for giving me the opportunity for being your evaluator at meeting number 124. I thank all the members of BKC Firefly Toastmasters Club. We began on time. We had one role player shot, but that happens everywhere. First of all, Toastmaster Saurabh as SAA. You had a lot of energy. You talked about the mission and you opened the meeting as it should be. You had a sense of, you gave a hint of some suspense. So kudos for your role. I request everybody to applaud all the role takers. They have done a wonderful job today. A small, again, it's from whatever my experience. We talk about the 3 taboos of the Toastmasters meeting, which I felt perhaps you missed out. And a little more of energy from you, as you say, you're in that business. So the first warm welcome, I perhaps would have loved a little more energy from your end. But as you did a wonderful role, so thanks a lot for your role as SA. Presiding Officer, Toastmaster Sandhya. Wonderful opening. You went ahead and you described, you put everybody at ease. You talked to the guests, especially Toastmaster Al-Hassan, who is somebody, as he said, is global. So Atiti Deva, you talked about your personal story and you led into the theme of the day, wonderfully open. One thing which I noticed is your camera was, if it could have been positioned, because you're the presiding officer, you're the face of the club. So I personally would request you to be a little more formal because of the post you hold as the presiding officer. In case it is possible, next time, please make sure that your camera is positioned in that way, which is better. There's a lot of jerky moments for me, but thank you. And again, I request you should introduce the Toastmaster of the day. Yes, he's known in the club, but a formal introduction is required. That is the way the meeting flows. And as the presiding officer, you should take care of that. So that is all my recommendation. Thanks a lot for being presiding officer today. Toastmaster Sai, what can we say about you? From the word go, the meeting just kept flowing. I really love the way you started with a personal story and your language. Yes, that has been, crack of dawn, corner of our eye, culture is intangible, sell a culture of excellence. I really love the personal anecdotes which flow throughout. You talk to the speakers, you call the evaluators after every speaker when you had something to add, taken from their speech, and gives back to the audience. A wonderful atmosphere you created throughout. You kept the energy, you took the role, you cajoled, you provided a peer pressure that was helpful. And Toastmaster Sangeeta Shruti, that we should applaud her, that even being an evaluator, she jumped up and took the role. You also adjusted. Wonderful. My recommendation, since you're the TMOD and time is your priority, you have to understand how the time has to flow. There are 5 speeches, 35 minutes minimum, 5 evaluations. We go 3:30. You have to look at those timings and make sure that your content has to come within that. And when you have a speech marathon, all the speakers want evaluations. So evaluations hold very much importance when you have a speech marathon. If possible, cut down on a little on your content. That would be very helpful. But for me, it has been a learning lesson. Thanks a lot and applause all around. My tag team, I have no words. What I really loved about this tag team, everybody came out with personal story. That is something we don't practice. Bangalore and this region is very formal. You come, you read your role and you go. But Toastmaster Shekhar had his little love story. Toastmaster Jinal had not a cakewalk. So I really love, thanks a lot, my tag team. And evaluators, please, I'll be a little harsh because I love evaluation. Make sure that you don't give a speech. You have to evaluate. And you have been given a sheet, right? There are the parameters on which you have to evaluate. At least what I have learned from my seniors, don't evaluate the content. You have to evaluate the speaker, how they came out. Did they use the phrases? Was the body language visible? They had the vocal visualization. Did they paint pictures with words? Yes. Did the content flow beautifully? Yeah. You are not to evaluate the content. That is what I have. And you have the sheet, right? If you look at your sheets, there's nowhere the content is lined up. So please, one thing, don't cross your time. Try to remain within. Respect the speaker. They're speaking for 7 minutes. You should not go for 5 minutes. That's, in my opinion, it's an affront to the speaker. And stick to what you have been given. You have been given guidelines. So all the evaluators, you have been very supportive, and I know the speakers will take a lot of things, but as evaluators, there are guidelines which you have to follow. That is all I have to say. In the paucity of time, we are running almost at the end. Thanks a lot for giving me the opportunity. You have been a wonderful audience. Please applaud for yourself. Thank you, BKC Firefly, for making me also a Firefly. And back to you, TMOD. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gunjan. I timed my entry into this meeting a little wrong. I'm so sorry about that. I didn't mean to take your spotlight. Apologies. Let me quickly launch the polls and then call up our presiding officer to take charge of the meeting. And I will be posting the results to her so she can announce them later. Wait, I don't see Sandhya anymore. Where is Sandhya? Oh, there she is.
I'm here.
Over to you, presiding officer. Let me launch the polls from the back.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. And I'm also going to be very, very quick. We have a number of members from other clubs who have helped us a lot in conducting today's meeting. And I want to take this opportunity to speak to each of them. Some of them have come here for the first time. Some of them have been here. They've almost become like our members, I would say. So I want to talk to each of them. I will start with the grammarian, Toastmaster Jinal, who messaged me and told me, hey, listen, I want to take up a role at your meeting and can I do this? Toastmaster Jinal, how was your experience at our club? I think this is the first time you are taking up a role with us.
Yeah, I think I completely enjoyed the energy. I think the vibe is great. And I think I was wondering because there are some roles that I mean, this is the first time I'm being a grammarian. So I was just a little worried that I hope I can do my job right.
You were wonderful.
But thank you so much. But yeah, I think I enjoyed your theme. Also, is really nice. It's a wonderful theme that you picked, and I love the way things came together. I think Sangeeta Shruti. It for me it seemed like it was Agnel again because there's Sangeeta Shruti and there's Tanuja, and Sangeeta Shruti also double-hatted. So yeah, it was a wonderful experience. A great sir, Shekhar sir, to connect with you again. I've been part of the Dadar Club as well, so it for me it was like a reunion of sorts. So, had a good time. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you. Do you have any feedback for us, Julian?
Nothing off the top of my head. Nothing right now. Maybe
Okay.
if I can think of
You can
something
share
else.
with us later if you have any.
Sure, definitely.
Yes. Thank you very much for volunteering to take up this role.
Thank
Next, I would like to talk to the R counter for the day, Toastmaster Shekhar. I think who has also taken up the role for the very first time with BKC Five Flies. Toastmaster Shekhar,
Yeah.
I know you recorded a number of hours and ums during the meeting.
Yeah.
Some of us, especially I, was a terrible performer as far as the R counter goes. But how was your experience overall?
Overall experience, everybody was vibrant. Everybody was full of enthusiasm, regardless of who does how many and how many. That did not distract them from delivering whatever they wanted. Specifically, I appreciate Toastmaster Pranav, though he has done so many hours, his evaluation was superb. I mean, that because I am a counter, I have noticed that. Otherwise, it is not noticeable. Secondly, I appreciate General Evaluator Gunjan Mallik. He has got guts. The way he has concluded his evaluation by saying that you are not to evaluators are not supposed to comment on the contents, but on the delivery. Very few people are so brave to speak out such thing, which is a great learning for all of us. TMOD Sai was fluent, like sea flowing, water in the sea flowing, absolutely flawless. And I really enjoyed the meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much again for coming here and taking up that role. I would now like to speak to our general evaluator that Toastmaster Shekhar just spoke about, the lovely general evaluator, Toastmaster Gunjan. Toastmaster Gunjan, again, thank you very much for taking up this role. You gave us an evaluation of the meeting already as the GE, but beyond that, what is the feedback that you would have for us?
The first thing which I would say is that you have a brilliant set of speakers. It was like sitting in a management class, if I could take one. Since beginning, means when Sai spoke about that culture of excellence and where you carry, these are lessons which you will not get. It's the long professional life which they have lived at the highest peaks that they are delivering. You may think that there are few lines, but they are years lived. Same thing with Saurabh. I have noted down all the 7 things. He had a catchphrase for everything. Passion serves as foundation. Adaptability, build a strong team. So yes, we hear, but when somebody speaks from experience, it's a different scenario. One recommendation: when at the last moment, role is not going to be filled, among yourself, make sure that somebody is ready to take, rather than Sai to cajole somebody. That is the only recommendation. Really loved the meeting, and I really enjoyed the energy. Would love to come back. So thanks a lot for giving me the opportunity. If I was asked, I apologize.
Thank you very much. We would also love to have you back again. And we have, I think, we have Anusha now. Anusha and Tanuja, quickly 1 minute to both of you. Both of you are evaluators. And I think just like me, both of you also took extra time. But now let's be very brief. Anusha, one thing that you liked about the meeting?
One thing you would like to?
You liked about the meeting?
Oh, it was a great meet. I mean, it was a candid discussion happening, and I think TMOD Sai, he was able to take his topic, flow with the topic and have a lively interaction with the audience. And I definitely, we had few meetings with Gunjan as he had taken few roles in our club also. So very much appreciate his comments for the evaluation segment also. I mean, I was seeing it read. I thought I had few more minutes. I should use the whole time, but I didn't see that it's crossed 30 seconds buffer. So that's bad. So that's also not good to use the whole time. At least when the red comes, do stop it. It just, it's a takeaway. I enjoy, speech marathon is definitely appreciable and bang on that you could get so many speakers and role players for the same. So, I mean, you also coordinating and doing it. I appreciate the effort that has gone through having the session happen. That's the important thing to do.
Thank you
so much,
very
Sandhya.
much. Thank you very much for those
Thank you,
lovely
Rashmi.
words.
Yeah. Thank you,
If I told Toastmaster Tanuja, quickly, one thing that you want us to improve on.
You want, about the role players, as earlier everyone mentioned, that was the only thing. And another thing, next time I'm not going to be evaluator when, because I couldn't hear other speeches, I was writing my evaluation. So
I thought you were going to say, oh, I'm not going to be the evaluator. I had such a horrible experience.
No. Everyone, I mean, I could hear bits and parts from it, and I'm like, oh my God, and then like, no, I have to get back to my evaluation. So I was writing my evaluation. So that is the only thing. And thanks a lot for having me here. It was absolutely a learning thing from everyone, TMOD, Sai, General Evaluator, Gunjan, and Sangeeta, Shruti, Jinal, Toastmaster Shekhar. So it is absolute enlightenment, kind of, like for many things I really learned from this meeting today. Thanks to you.
Thank you very much for those kind words, Toastmaster Tanuja. I am now going to go to the girl who does Namaskar, who double-hatted today, who has, I think, become an integral part of the BKC Fireflies family. Sangeeta Shruti, this is, I think, I don't know, 4th or 5th meeting in a row that you are attending and playing a role, and this time you've played 2 roles. So tell us what, you are the person who can tell us how do you think we have been faring in the last few meetings?
Actually, as a reward to Sangeeta Shruti, you can make her a member. She can take a dual membership and you can pay for her.
The first point I agree with. The second one, we will see.
Okay, you're doing a great job, and BKC is the club that has converted me to online clubs. Otherwise, I don't go to any online club anywhere. And if you don't mind, Toastmaster Sandhya, I will give you my feedback post the meeting. Let's move on. We're running short of time.
Thank you. Okay, Sangeeta Shruti. Point taken. I want to see if our guest is still around. I don't see him around. Okay. So quickly, let me go on to announce the results. I will start with the result for the best prepared speaker. This is amazing because we have 2 speakers who have been voted as the best prepared speaker. There has been a tie. And who are these speakers? There is one speaker who gave her very first speech as a Toastmaster, and another speaker who is almost about to finish his pathway. So we have one speaker who's just started her Toastmasters journey and the other one who is, towards the end of the pathway. So Toastmaster Sunniva and Toastmaster Saurabh, congratulations. Both of you have tied as the best speaker for the evening. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Moving on quickly, the best evaluator for the day, none other than Toastmaster Sangeeta Shruti. Very well done. I loved your evaluation, Sangeeta Shruti.
May I please share the spotlight with Toastmaster Sandhya? She was disqualified for time, but gave an excellent evaluation. As much credit to her.
Thank you very much. And the best role player, the auxiliary role player, is the grammarian for the day, the person who has taken up this role for the very first time, but she was so good, Toastmaster Jinal, the best auxiliary role player. Congratulations, you were excellent as the grammarian.
Thanks.
Finally, the best role player among the big two, I would say, this time we didn't have three, but two, the Toastmaster of the day and the general evaluator, and the room thought that the best role player is the general evaluator, Toastmaster Gunjan, who gave us some excellent feedback. And Toastmaster Gunjan, we are going to use that feedback as a club. Also in very individual feedback, like standing up and speaking, the camera position, evaluations. I think all of them are very well taken and practically very useful. So thank you for that. Thank you for those words. And we would love to have you back as the GE. Maybe next time we will improve on those and you can tell us if we are faring better. So thank you very much, everyone. With this, I declare the meeting closed, but whoever has the time can stay offline and we can chat.